I know who you are. You're my father. You left her 10 years ago.
Is this true?
She never forgot you.
The billionaire froze the moment he saw the little girl. The coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered across the diner floor. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Because the 10-year-old girl standing in front of him had his exact eyes. The same deep blue eyes, the same stubborn jaw, the same dimple on her left cheek. And she was staring right at him. "Mom," the little girl asked innocently, pointing at him, "why does that man look like me?" The entire diner went silent. Marcus Cole had spent 10 years building one of the biggest hotel empires in America. 10 years becoming one of the richest men in the country. 10 years convincing himself he had made the right decision. But nothing in those 10 years prepared him for this moment. Because the little girl standing in front of him wasn't a stranger. She was his daughter. And he had absolutely no idea she existed. "Sign it." Marcus looked down at the document sitting on his father's desk. Then he pushed it back. "No." The room went silent. His father slowly removed his glasses. "What did you say?" Marcus leaned back in his chair. "I said no." The old man's jaw tightened. For a moment, the only sound in the office was the ticking of the grandfather clock against the wall. Tick, tick, tick. "You've spent 6 months embarrassing this family." Marcus laughed. "There it is." "Don't." His father pointed at the document. "Sign it." Marcus didn't even look at it this time. He already knew what it said. Marriage agreement. Elaine Whitfield, the daughter of Richard Whitfield, one of the most powerful hotel owners in America. A merger disguised as a wedding. A business deal disguised as love. Marcus looked his father straight in the eye. "You know what's funny?" His father said nothing. "I've met Elaine twice." The old man folded his arms. "Then meet her a third time." Marcus laughed again. This time there was no humor in it. "You don't care if I'm happy." His father slammed his hand on the desk. "Happiness doesn't build empires." The sound echoed through the office. Marcus stood. "Neither does forcing people into marriages." His father stood too. Now they were face to face. Neither willing to back down. "You are my son." "No." Marcus shook his head. "I'm your investment." The old man's eyes darkened. "Everything I built will belong to you one day." "I don't want it." The room went silent. For the first time, his father actually looked shocked. Marcus stepped closer. "You know what I want." "What?" "I want one thing in my life that wasn't chosen for me." His father laughed, a cold laugh, the kind that never reached his eyes. "You sound like a child." "No." Marcus grabbed the document from the desk, then tore it in half. The sound ripped through the room. His father froze. Then Marcus tore it again. And again. Until pieces of the agreement covered the floor. Neither man spoke. Finally, his father pointed toward the door. "Get out." Marcus nodded. "Gladly." "No." The old man's voice became ice. "If you walk out that door," he paused, "don't ever come back." Marcus stared at him, waiting, hoping, praying his father would change his mind. He didn't. Instead, the old man said the words Marcus would never forget. "You'll come crawling back." Marcus swallowed hard, then quietly replied, "I'd rather lose everything." And for the first time in his life, he meant it. 3 months later, Marcus pushed open the door to Naomi's diner. The bell above the door chimed. It was almost midnight. Only a few customers remained. Naomi looked up from behind the counter. "There you are." Marcus frowned. "There I am." "You missed yesterday." Marcus laughed. "Didn't know I had attendance requirements." You do now. For the first time that day, he smiled. Naomi pointed toward his usual booth. Go sit down. Marcus sat. A minute later, Naomi placed a cup of black coffee in front of him. Thanks. She didn't move. Instead, she sat across from him. Marcus immediately became suspicious. What? Naomi folded her arms. What happened to your hand? Marcus looked down. A bandage wrapped around his knuckles. Nothing. That's a lie. It was a door. Naomi raised an eyebrow. You punched a door. Marcus sighed. Maybe. Naomi couldn't help laughing. You know, normal people just open doors. Marcus shook his head. You ask too many questions. And you answer too few? For a moment, neither spoke. Then Naomi noticed something. Marcus looked exhausted. Not physically, emotionally. Like someone carrying a weight nobody else could see. Rough day. Marcus stared into his coffee. You ever feel like your entire life was planned before you were born? Naomi frowned. That's a weird question. I'm serious. She thought about it, then shrugged. No. Marcus nodded slowly. Must be nice. Something about the way he said it made Naomi stop smiling. This wasn't about work. This wasn't about money. This was something deeper. You want to talk about it? Marcus laughed softly. No. Why? Because the moment I do, you'll think I'm crazy. Naomi leaned back. Try me. Marcus stared at her for several seconds, then finally spoke. My father hasn't spoken to me in months. Naomi blinked. Why? Because I refused to do something. What? Marcus looked away. For a moment, Naomi thought he wasn't going to answer. Then he quietly said, he wanted me to marry someone. Naomi almost choked on her coffee. What? Marcus laughed. Told you. Wait. Naomi sat up straighter. Your father stopped talking to you because you wouldn't marry somebody? Marcus nodded. Pretty much. That's insane. I know. No, seriously. Naomi stared at him. That's actually insane. For the first time all night, Marcus laughed. A real laugh, the kind that made Naomi smile too. Then she became serious. So what happened? Marcus shrugged. I left. You just left. I chose myself. Naomi looked at him carefully. For some reason, she liked that answer. A lot. Because most people spent their lives doing what everyone else wanted. Marcus had walked away from everything. That took courage. Or stupidity. Maybe both. You know, Naomi said, I think you made the right choice. Marcus looked up, surprised. Really? Absolutely. What if it costs me everything? Naomi smiled, then pointed at him. Then build it again. Marcus stared at her. Nobody had ever said that to him before. Not his father. Not his friends. Nobody. And for the first time since leaving home, Marcus felt something dangerous. Hope. Neither of them realized it that night. But years later, Marcus would remember that conversation. Because Naomi wasn't the woman who fell in love with his money. She was the woman who believed in him when he had none. Over the next year, Marcus became part of Naomi's life. Not all at once. Little by little. A coffee after work became dinner. Dinner became long conversations. Long conversations became midnight walks. And somewhere along the way, they fell in love. One Friday night, Marcus locked the door of his small motel and climbed the stairs to the tiny apartment above Naomi's diner. The smell of pancakes greeted him before he even opened the door. Naomi looked up from the stove. You're late. Marcus smiled. Good evening to you too. She pointed a spatula at him. 5 minutes late. Marcus laughed. You're keeping track. I have standards. Marcus wrapped his arms around her waist. Is that right? Naomi tried not to smile. Failed. Completely. For a few seconds, everything felt perfect. Simple. Peaceful. Safe. Then Marcus's phone rang. The smile disappeared from his face. Naomi noticed immediately. "Who is it?" Marcus stared at the screen. Unknown number. Something about it felt wrong. Slowly, he answered. "Hello?" A woman's voice spoke. "Mr. Cole?" Marcus frowned. "Who's this?" "I'm calling from St. Vincent Medical Center." His stomach dropped. The woman hesitated, then quietly said, "Your father has been admitted." The room went silent. Marcus stopped breathing. Naomi's smile vanished. The woman continued, "He's asking for you." Marcus sat down heavily. His hand trembled around the phone. What's wrong with him? A pause, then, heart failure. Naomi covered her mouth. Marcus closed his eyes. "No. I'm sorry. No." The woman lowered her voice. "The doctors don't think he has much time." The call ended. Neither Marcus nor Naomi spoke for nearly a minute. Finally, Naomi sat beside him. "Marcus." He stared at the floor. "I can't." "You have to." He threw me away. His voice cracked. The words surprised even him, because he hadn't realized how much they still hurt. Naomi reached for his hand. "He's still your father." Marcus laughed bitterly. "Not according to him." Naomi squeezed his hand. "What if this is your last chance?" Marcus looked away, because that was exactly what terrified him. The next morning, he drove 6 hours to New York. By sunset, he was standing inside his father's hospital room. The old man looked smaller than Marcus remembered. Older, weaker, for the first time in his life. Fragile. His father opened his eyes and immediately saw him. For several seconds, neither man spoke. Then the old man smiled weakly. "Took you long enough." Marcus almost laughed. Almost. "You look terrible." His father nodded. "So do you." For the first time in years, they both smiled. But the peace didn't last, because standing in the corner of the room was a woman Marcus immediately recognized. Elaine Whitfield. Elegant. Beautiful. And the reason his family had fallen apart. Elaine gave him a small nod. Marcus nodded back, awkwardly. Then his father cleared his throat. "There you are." Marcus frowned. "What?" His father pointed weakly toward Elaine. "The future of this family." And just like that, the war started all over again. Marcus didn't speak to Elaine that night, and Elaine didn't try to speak to him. The tension between them was obvious. Years of family expectations sat silently between them. The next morning, Marcus walked into his father's private office at the hospital. The old man was already waiting. So were 3 lawyers, 2 executives, and Elaine. Marcus immediately stopped. "What is this?" His father pointed toward a chair. "Sit down." "No." The old man's expression hardened. "Marcus." "No." Marcus looked around the room. "I'm not doing this again." One of the lawyers slid a thick folder across the table. Marcus didn't touch it. His father did. Then slowly opened it. What Marcus saw made his stomach drop. Financial reports, debt statements, emergency restructuring plans, loss projections, pages and pages of bad news. "What is this?" For the first time, the old man looked tired. Not angry, not controlling, just tired. "The truth." Marcus frowned. "What truth?" His father pointed at the reports. "The company is bleeding money." The room went silent. Marcus laughed. No. Nobody laughed with him. The smile slowly disappeared from his face. "You're serious." One of the executives nodded. "Very." Marcus grabbed the reports. His eyes raced through the numbers. The situation was bad. Much worse than bad. It was a disaster. The company wasn't struggling. It was collapsing. Marcus looked up. "How long?" His father looked away. 3 years? Marcus couldn't believe it. 3 years. His father had hidden it for 3 years. Why didn't you tell me? His father laughed bitterly. You weren't exactly answering my calls. Marcus clenched his jaw. The old man continued. If the company falls, he pointed toward the window. 22,000 employees lose their jobs. The words hit hard. Very hard. 22,000. Not executives, not shareholders, families, parents, children, people with mortgages, people with bills, people who depended on that company. Marcus looked at the reports again, then at Elaine, then back at his father. And suddenly he understood. The marriage, the merger, the pressure. It had never been about love. It had always been about survival. His father leaned forward. The Whitfield merger saves everything. Marcus looked at Elaine. Did you know? Elaine nodded. Quietly. Marcus stared at her. For how long? A year. A year. She had known for a year. Marcus laughed in disbelief. This is insane. No. His father shook his head. This is business. Marcus slammed the folder shut. No. His voice echoed through the room. No. He stood up. I'm not sacrificing my life for this. His father looked him directly in the eye. What about 22,000 other lives? Silence. The room became painfully quiet, because for the first time, Marcus didn't have an answer. That evening, Elaine found him sitting alone outside the hospital. Neither spoke for a while. Finally, Elaine broke the silence. You hate me. Marcus stared ahead. No. Elaine laughed softly. You should. Marcus turned toward her. Why? Because my name is the reason you're here. For the first time, Marcus noticed something. She looked trapped too. Not happy. Not excited. Not hopeful. Trapped. Just like him. Elaine folded her arms. My father gave me the same choice. Marcus frowned. What? Marry you or walk away from my family? Marcus stared at her. The realization hit him slowly. She wasn't the villain. She was another victim. Another child trapped inside a war between powerful fathers. Elaine looked toward the city lights, then quietly asked, Do you love her? Marcus didn't answer immediately. He didn't have to. Elaine already knew. The pain in his eyes told her everything. A sad smile appeared on her face. I thought so. Marcus looked down, then finally said the truth. I love her more than anything. Elaine nodded. A tear escaped before she could stop it. Then this is going to hurt. The next morning, Marcus walked into his father's room. The old man looked up. Marcus stood there for several seconds, silent, broken, defeated. Then finally said the words that would destroy his future. I'll do it. His father closed his eyes. Relief flooded his face. The lawyer smiled. The executive smiled. Everyone felt relief. Everyone except Marcus. Because at that moment, he wasn't thinking about the company. He wasn't thinking about the merger. He wasn't thinking about the money. He was thinking about Naomi, the woman waiting for him back home, the woman who believed in him when he had nothing. And for the first time in his life, Marcus realized saving an empire might cost him the only thing that truly mattered. Marcus drove home in silence. 6 hours. 6 miserable hours. The entire way, he kept reaching for his phone, then putting it down again. What was he supposed to say? How was he supposed to explain any of this? By the time he arrived back in town, it was almost midnight. The lights inside Naomi's diner were off, but the apartment upstairs was still lit. She was waiting. Marcus knew it. The moment he opened the apartment door, Naomi looked up from the couch. Relief flooded her face. There you are. She immediately wrapped her arms around him. For a second, Marcus almost broke, because this was exactly what he was about to lose. Naomi pulled back, then frowned. What's wrong? Marcus couldn't answer. Not immediately. He walked toward the window, staring out into the darkness. Marcus? Still nothing. Now Naomi was worried. Is your father okay? Marcus laughed, a broken laugh, the kind that made Naomi's stomach twist. No. What happened? Marcus turned around. His eyes were red, exhausted, defeated. And suddenly Naomi knew something terrible had happened. What is it? Marcus swallowed hard, then finally said, I need you to sit down. Her heart dropped. Slowly, Naomi sat. The room felt too quiet. Marcus stared at the floor, then at the ceiling, anywhere except her eyes. Finally, he spoke. My father wasn't dying when he called me. Naomi frowned. What? He is sick. Marcus nodded, but that's not why he wanted me there. The fear in Naomi's chest grew. Then why? Marcus closed his eyes, because saying the words felt like betrayal. The company is collapsing. Naomi blinked. What company? For a moment, Marcus forgot. She still didn't know. Not everything. Not yet. So he told her. Everything. The hotel empire, the Whitfields, the arranged marriage, the ultimatum, the inheritance, the debt, the merger, the 22,000 employees, the years of pressure, the years of control. When he finished, the apartment was silent. Naomi just stared at him, trying to process everything. So, she spoke slowly, carefully. Your father disowned you because you wouldn't marry another woman. Marcus nodded. Yes. Naomi shook her head. That's insane. I know. And now he wants you to do it? Marcus didn't answer. He didn't have to. Naomi already knew. The answer was written all over his face. For a few seconds, she simply stared at him. Then she whispered, You said yes. Marcus felt his chest tighten. Naomi. You said yes. Her voice cracked this time, not from anger, from heartbreak. Marcus stepped toward her. I didn't know what else to do. Naomi stood, immediately. You didn't know what else to do? Tears filled her eyes. Marcus, you chose me. I know. You walked away from everything for me. I know. Then what changed? Marcus looked away, because he didn't have a good answer. The truth was ugly, complicated, painful, and none of it would make this hurt less. Naomi laughed bitterly. You know what hurts? Marcus remained silent. You didn't even ask me. That hit harder than anything else. You made the decision by yourself. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You decided my future. Marcus felt sick, because she was right, completely right. I was trying to protect you. Naomi laughed. This time there was anger in it. Protect me? She pointed at herself. I loved you when you were broke. Marcus lowered his head. I know. I loved you when you had nothing. I know. I would have stood beside you through all of it. Her voice broke. But you didn't even give me the chance. Silence. Heavy, painful silence. Then Naomi whispered the words Marcus would remember for the rest of his life. You didn't trust me enough to fight with you. Marcus closed his eyes, because that was the truth. The room fell silent. For a long moment, neither moved. Then Marcus reached into his pocket and placed a small box on the table. Naomi stared at it. The engagement ring, the one he'd been carrying for 3 months, the one he'd planned to give her before the phone call. Fresh tears filled her eyes. Marcus's voice cracked. I bought it before I left. Naomi looked away immediately, because she couldn't bear to look at it. Not now, not anymore. The future she'd dreamed about was sitting on that table, and it no longer belonged to her. Finally, Marcus picked up his jacket. Naomi didn't stop him, didn't beg, didn't cry, didn't scream. Somehow that hurt even more. Marcus reached the door, then turned back. One last time. One final chance. One final look. But Naomi wasn't looking at him anymore. She was staring at the ring. The life they almost had. Marcus swallowed hard, then quietly said, "I'm sorry." Naomi never answered, and a few seconds later, the door closed behind him. Neither of them knew it then, but that, for 3 days, Naomi barely left the apartment. The diner stayed closed, the lights stayed off, the phone rang constantly. She ignored every call, every text, every knock on the door, because every time she closed her eyes, she saw the ring Marcus never got to place on her finger. On the 4th day, her best friend Sarah finally had enough. She unlocked the apartment with the spare key and walked in. One look at Naomi, and she froze. Oh my God! Naomi was sitting on the floor, still wearing the same sweatshirt, still holding the engagement ring box. Sarah immediately sat beside her. "You need to eat." "I'm not hungry." "You haven't opened the diner in 4 days." "I know." Sarah sighed, then gently took the ring box from her hands. "He's gone." The words hurt, even now, especially now. Naomi looked away. "He didn't even fight for us." Sarah wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Neither woman spoke for a while. Finally, Sarah asked, "What are you going to do now?" Naomi laughed softly, a broken laugh. "I don't know." And for the first time in her life, that terrified her. A week later, Naomi returned to work. Not because she was ready, because she had bills to pay. The first few days were brutal. Every customer reminded her of Marcus, his favorite booth, his favorite coffee, his stupid jokes. Everything reminded her of him. Then one morning, Naomi nearly collapsed while carrying a tray. A customer rushed forward. "Are you okay?" Naomi forced a smile. "I'm fine." But she wasn't. The dizziness kept getting worse. The nausea, too. 3 days later, Sarah dragged her to a doctor. The doctor reviewed the test results, then smiled. "Congratulations." Naomi frowned. "I think you have the wrong person." The doctor laughed. "No." He turned the screen toward her. "You're pregnant." The room went silent. Naomi stared at him, certain she had heard wrong. "What?" "You're pregnant." The words echoed through her head. Pregnant. Marcus's child. The child of the man who had just shattered her heart. Tears instantly filled her eyes. The doctor mistook them for happy tears. They usually do that. Naomi laughed through the tears. If only he knew. An hour later, she sat alone on a park bench, holding the ultrasound photo. The world moved around her. Cars, people, noise. But Naomi heard none of it. She looked down at the tiny image. A tiny heartbeat. A tiny life. A tiny piece of Marcus. The tears came again. This time she didn't stop them. Because suddenly she wasn't grieving one loss. She was facing a future she never expected. A future she would have to face alone. That evening, Sarah found her sitting in the diner, the ultrasound picture still in her hands. Sarah's eyes widened. "Is that?" Naomi nodded. Sarah sat down slowly. "Oh my God." Neither spoke for several seconds. Finally, Sarah asked the question Naomi had been avoiding all day. "Are you going to tell him?" The room went silent. Naomi looked at the photo, then looked out the window, far away, toward a future she couldn't see. Finally, she whispered, "No." Sarah stared at her. "What?" Naomi swallowed hard. "He made his choice." "Naomi, he chose another life." Tears filled her eyes again. "I'm not going to beg someone to love his own child." Sarah reached for her hand. "But he deserves to know." Naomi looked down at the ultrasound, then quietly said, "No." Her voice broke. "My child deserves to be wanted." The diner fell silent, and for the first time, Naomi made a decision that would change 3 lives forever. Marcus would never know he was going to be a father. And 10 years later, that decision would come back to haunt all of them. Marcus didn't remember driving home. One moment, he was standing inside Naomi's diner. The next, he was sitting in the driveway of his mansion, staring at nothing. His daughter's face refused to leave his mind, her smile, her eyes. His eyes. His phone suddenly buzzed. Elaine. Marcus closed his eyes. For a moment, he considered ignoring it. Instead, he answered, "Hello. You found her." Marcus froze. His grip tightened on the phone. "How did you know?" Elaine laughed softly. "Because you haven't sounded alive in 10 years. The words hit harder than he expected. Marcus looked toward the mansion. The house felt enormous, cold, empty, the exact opposite of Naomi's diner. "When did you know?" he asked quietly. A long silence followed. Then Elaine answered, "The day we got married." Marcus froze. "What?" Elaine stepped onto the balcony upstairs. He could see her through the glass, holding a cup of tea, looking down at him. "You said her name in your sleep." Marcus looked away, ashamed. Elaine smiled sadly. "You never loved me, Marcus." The truth hung between them, heavy, painful, undeniable. "No," his voice cracked. "I didn't." Elaine nodded. "I know." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Marcus frowned. "Why didn't you leave?" Elaine laughed, a sad laugh. "Same reason you stayed." Marcus understood immediately. Family, obligation, expectations. The prison neither of them chose. Elaine walked downstairs. A few minutes later, she joined him outside. For 10 years, they had lived under the same roof. Yet somehow this was the most honest conversation they'd ever had. Elaine sat beside him. "So?" She looked at him. "Tell me about her." Marcus smiled despite himself. "Who?" "Your daughter." The word daughter sounded strange coming from someone else. Marcus looked down. For a second, he couldn't speak. Then he laughed softly. "She's smart." Elaine smiled. "Of course she is." "Funny." "What else?" Marcus's eyes filled with tears, and for the first time, he didn't hide them. "She thinks I abandoned her." Elaine's smile disappeared. The pain in Marcus's voice was impossible to miss. "Did you?" Marcus stared into the darkness. "No." The answer came instantly. Then he corrected himself. "At least, I never meant to." Elaine nodded. "That's not the same thing." Marcus lowered his head, because she was right. Intentions didn't matter. Consequences did. Then Marcus told her everything. The diner, Lily, Naomi, the pregnancy he never knew about, the 10 years he missed. When he finished, Elaine sat quietly, thinking, processing. Finally, she asked one question. "Did Naomi know why you left?" Marcus frowned. "What? Did you tell her about the company?" "Yes." "The debt?" "Yes." "The merger?" "Yes." Elaine looked away, then slowly shook her head. "Oh, Marcus." A knot formed in his stomach. "What?" Elaine turned toward him. "Then you still don't understand." Marcus frowned. "Understand what?" Elaine's eyes softened. "Naomi wasn't angry because you married me." The words stunned him. "She was angry because you decided for her." Marcus froze. Elaine continued. "You loved her. She loved you. Yet you made the choice alone." The realization hit him like a truck, because Naomi had said the exact same thing. "You didn't trust me enough to fight with you." For 10 years, Marcus had believed the tragedy was the marriage. Suddenly, he realized it wasn't. The tragedy was that he never gave Naomi a chance to stand beside him. Elaine stood up. Marcus looked at her. "What are you saying?" Elaine smiled sadly. "I'm saying it's time to stop punishing all 3 of you." Marcus stared at her. "What about us?" Elaine laughed softly. There hasn't been an us for a very long time. Then she handed him an envelope. Marcus frowned. What is this? Divorce papers. His eyes widened. Elaine smiled. A real smile this time. The first honest smile he'd seen from her in years. Go fight for your family. Marcus sat there speechless, because for the second time in his life, someone was giving him a choice. And this time, he intended to make the right one. The next afternoon, Marcus walked into Naomi's diner. The lunch crowd was busy. Customers filled nearly every table. The moment Naomi saw him, her expression hardened. Marcus stopped at the counter. Can we talk? Naomi continued wiping the counter. No. Naomi. No. The sharpness in her voice surprised even him. Several customers glanced over. Marcus lowered his voice. Please. Naomi finally looked up. For a second, neither spoke. Then she pointed toward the door. Leave. Marcus swallowed hard. I'm not leaving. Naomi laughed, a bitter laugh. Funny. Marcus remained silent. You left pretty easily 10 years ago. The words hit hard. Very hard. The diner suddenly felt smaller, quieter, heavier. Marcus looked down. I deserve that. No. Naomi shook her head. You deserve a lot more than that. For 10 years, Naomi had imagined this moment. Now that it was here, the words came pouring out. You know what I hate the most? Marcus didn't answer. I hate that part of me still remembers the man who sat in that booth every night. She pointed toward the corner booth. The man who couldn't afford dinner. The man who dreamed about owning a hotel. The man I would have followed anywhere. Marcus felt his chest tighten, because he remembered too, every second of it. Naomi's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look away. Not this time. I chose you. The words came out quietly, more painful than a scream. I chose you when you had nothing. Marcus closed his eyes. I know. No. Naomi shook her head. You don't. Her voice cracked. Because if you did, you would have trusted me. The diner was silent now. Even the customers had stopped talking. Nobody wanted to miss a word. You decided I couldn't handle the truth, Naomi continued. You decided I couldn't survive the fight. You decided what was best for me. Marcus lowered his head. Every word was true. Every single one. Then Naomi delivered the blow he never saw coming. Do you know how many nights Lily cried? Marcus froze. The mention of Lily hit differently. Naomi? No. Tears rolled down her cheeks. You don't get to interrupt. For 10 years, she had listened to silence. Now it was his turn. When she was 6, she asked me why every other child had a father. Marcus felt sick. When she was 7, she made a Father's Day card. His heart shattered. When she was 8, she stopped asking. Naomi wiped away tears. That was the worst part. Marcus couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, couldn't even look at her, because every moment she described, he had missed. Then Naomi leaned closer and quietly asked the question that had haunted her for 10 years. Was she worth it? Marcus looked up, confused. What? The marriage. The diner fell silent again. Was she worth losing us? Marcus immediately shook his head. No. The answer came too fast, too honestly. No. Naomi stared at him, then laughed through her tears. That's what makes it worse. Marcus frowned. What? Because if she wasn't worth it. Her voice broke. Then why didn't you come back? The question hit harder than anything else, because Marcus didn't have an answer. Not a good one. Not one that would erase 10 years. Finally, he whispered, I was ashamed. Naomi stared at him. Marcus looked away. I kept telling myself I'd come back when I fixed everything. His voice cracked. Then 1 year became 2. 2 became 5. 5 became 10. Naomi shook her head. Disbelief, heartbreak, anger, all at once. You waited 10 years? Marcus nodded, ashamed. Then Naomi said the words he had feared most. You don't need forgiveness, Marcus. His heart sank. You need consequences. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Naomi pointed toward the door. Again. This time her voice was calm, cold, final. I don't hate you. Marcus looked up. I wish I did. The words cut deeper than any insult, because they were true. Naomi took a deep breath, then looked him straight in the eye. But Lily and I built a life without you. A tear slid down her cheek. And right now, she pointed toward the door. We don't need you in it. Marcus stood there, broken, speechless, because for the first time since discovering Lily, he understood something. Finding his daughter was the easy part. Earning his place in her life? That battle had only just begun. 3 days after Marcus was thrown out of the diner, Lily overheard a conversation she was never supposed to hear. She had come downstairs looking for her science notebook. Instead, she stopped halfway down the stairs because Naomi and Sarah were talking. He's her father, Naomi. Lily froze. The notebook slipped from her hand. Neither woman noticed. Naomi sighed heavily. I know. You can't keep avoiding this forever. I know. Lily's heart started racing. Her father. Who? Then Sarah said the words. The truth is going to come out eventually. Lily stopped breathing. Naomi sat silently for several seconds, then whispered, I'm terrified. Lily had never heard her mother sound like that before. Not once. Sarah sat beside her. Why? Naomi's eyes filled with tears. Because she loves him. Lily frowned. Who? Sarah smiled sadly. Of course she does. Naomi looked away. She doesn't know he's the reason she spent 10 years asking where her father was. The world stopped. Lily's heart nearly exploded. Her father. The reason. 10 years. Suddenly every piece fell into place. The diner. Marcus. The way he looked at her. The way Mom looked at him. The arguments. The tension. The tears. Oh my God. The words escaped before she could stop them. Both women looked up. Naomi immediately went pale. Lily stepped backward. No. Her voice shook. No. Lily, no. Tears filled her eyes. He's my father? The silence answered the question. Lily looked at Naomi, then at Sarah, then back at Naomi again. And suddenly she understood. Everything. Every strange look. Every awkward conversation. Every unanswered question. It all made sense. The tears came instantly. You lied to me. Naomi stood. No, sweetheart. You lied! Lily backed away. I asked you. The pain in her voice broke Naomi's heart. I asked you 100 times. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. I was trying to protect you. From what? Lily shouted. The truth? The diner had never felt so quiet. Then Lily asked the question Naomi feared most. Did he know about me? Naomi couldn't answer. Not immediately. And that hesitation told Lily everything. The answer was no. He didn't know. Lily wiped away tears, then laughed bitterly. The way adults laugh when they're hurting. A laugh no 10-year-old should know. So everybody made decisions for me. Naomi's face crumpled. Lily, you. She pointed at her mother. And him. Another tear rolled down her cheek. Nobody even asked what I wanted. Then she turned and ran upstairs. The apartment door slammed so hard the entire building shook. That evening, there was a knock at the diner. Naomi opened the door. Marcus stood outside. The moment he saw her face, he knew. She knows. Naomi nodded, silently. Marcus closed his eyes. For a moment, neither spoke. Then a voice echoed from upstairs. "Tell him to leave." Marcus froze. Lily stood at the top of the stairs. Tears still stained her cheeks. For the first time since meeting her, she wasn't smiling. She wasn't curious. She wasn't excited. She was angry. Really angry. Marcus swallowed hard. "Lily." "No." Her voice cracked. "No." The single word hurt more than anything Naomi had ever said. Lily stared directly at him. "Is it true?" Marcus nodded. Slowly. Painfully. "Yes." Tears filled her eyes again. "Then where were you?" The question hit like a punch. Marcus opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Because there was no answer big enough, no explanation good enough, no excuse strong enough. Lily's voice shook. "Every Father's Day." Tears rolled down her face. "Every birthday." Another tear. "Every school play." Marcus lowered his head, unable to look at her. Then Lily asked the question that shattered him. Was I that easy to leave behind? The room fell silent. Marcus felt tears burn his eyes. "No." His voice broke. "No, sweetheart." "Then why weren't you there?" Marcus finally looked up. And for the first time in 10 years, he stopped trying to explain, stopped trying to justify, stopped trying to defend himself, and simply told the truth. "Because I was a coward." Silence. Heavy silence. "I thought I was protecting people." Tears rolled down his face. "But I was wrong." Lily stared at him. Marcus's voice cracked. "I missed 10 years." He looked at her. Really looked at her. "And if I could trade every dollar I have for those 10 years..." His voice broke completely. "I would." For the first time, Lily saw something she had never seen before. Not a billionaire, not a stranger, not a hero, just a broken man, a father who had made the biggest mistake of his life. But she wasn't ready to forgive him. Not yet. And as she turned and walked back upstairs, Marcus realized something important. Finding his daughter had been the easy part. For the next 3 weeks, Marcus stayed away. Not because he wanted to, because Lily asked him to. And for the first time in his life, Marcus understood that love wasn't about getting what you wanted. It was about respecting what someone else needed. So he waited. Every morning, he dropped off breakfast for the diner, then left. Every Friday, he sent flowers to Naomi, then left. Every Saturday, he dropped off books he thought Lily might enjoy, then left. No notes, no speeches, no pressure, just consistency. Week after week. One afternoon, Lily looked out the diner window and saw Marcus sitting alone on a bench across the street. Reading. Waiting. Not trying to come inside. Not trying to force his way back into her life. Just waiting. Lily frowned. Does he do that every day? Naomi looked up, then sighed. Pretty much. Lily stared through the window. That's weird. Naomi almost laughed. A little. The next day, Lily walked outside. Marcus looked up from his book, immediately standing. Hope flashed across his face, but he didn't move closer. He remembered the promise he'd made. No pressure. Lily shoved her hands into her pockets, then looked down, then back at him, then down again. Finally, she spoke. You really come here every day? Marcus smiled softly. Pretty much. Why? Marcus looked at her. Because the answer was simple. Because you're worth waiting for. Lily didn't know what to say to that. For a moment, neither spoke. Then she sat beside him. Not close, but not far away either. Progress. Small, but real. Over the following weeks, the distance slowly disappeared. One conversation became 2. 2 became 10. 10 became 50. Marcus helped with homework, attended soccer games, showed up to school events. Not because he was trying to impress anyone, because he genuinely wanted to be there. And little by little, Lily started believing him. One evening, Marcus received a call. The divorce was final. His marriage to Elaine was officially over. The strange thing? Instead of sadness, he felt gratitude. Elaine had given him something priceless, a second chance. The following weekend, Lily invited Marcus to her soccer championship game. The invitation was only 6 words, but Marcus kept reading it over and over again, just to make sure it was real. The game was tied. 1 minute left. Lily scored the winning goal. The crowd exploded. Parents rushed onto the field. Children celebrated. And for the first time, Lily ran straight toward Marcus. Not a coach, not a teammate, not a friend. Marcus, she threw her arms around him. "I did it!" Marcus laughed through tears. "You sure did." Then Lily hugged him tighter and quietly whispered, "I'm glad you came." 3 months later, the diner closed early. Naomi was cleaning the counter when she noticed something unusual. Silence. Too much silence. She frowned. "Lily?" No answer. "Marcus?" Still nothing. Naomi followed the sound of muffled laughter behind the diner. When she turned the corner, she stopped. Marcus and Lily were sitting on the old wooden steps, looking through photo albums, the ones Naomi had kept hidden for years. Baby pictures, school pictures, birthday pictures, 10 years of memories. The years Marcus missed. Lily pointed at a photograph. "That was my first day of school." Marcus smiled sadly. "I would have cried." "You would have." They both laughed. Naomi stood there quietly watching, and suddenly she realized something. Marcus wasn't trying to replace the missing years anymore. He knew he couldn't. He was simply showing up for the years he still had. Marcus looked up and saw Naomi standing there. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Lily grabbed Naomi's hand and pulled her down beside them. "Mom." Naomi smiled. "What?" Lily looked at both of them, then said the one thing neither expected. "I think we've wasted enough time." The words hung in the air, simple, honest, true. Naomi looked at Marcus. Marcus looked at Naomi. 10 years of pain, 10 years of regret, 10 years of missed chances. None of it disappeared. But for the first time, the future felt bigger than the past. Marcus reached for Naomi's hand. This time, she didn't pull away. And as Lily squeezed both their hands together, the family that had almost been lost forever finally found its way home. Before you go, tell me honestly, if you were Naomi, would you have forgiven Marcus? Or would 10 years have been too much to forgive? Share your answer in the comments. I read as many comments as I can, and I truly enjoy hearing your thoughts. And if this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves emotional stories, and subscribe for more unforgettable billionaire love stories. Also, many of you have been asking for longer stories with deeper emotions, family drama, powerful twists, and satisfying endings. That's why I've put together a special ebook featuring 5 of my most emotional billionaire love stories. If you'd like to read them, you'll find the link in the description below. Thank you for being part of this amazing community. And remember, sometimes the people we think we've lost forever are the very people who help us find our way home.